Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host and mentor for Lightworkers. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. Today, I have a pleasure to interview my fellow co-author from Teach Your Expertise book, Ann Hession, who has a highly unusual combination of skills to help you succeed. As an intuitive coach and energy healer with over 30 years of experience, and a sales expert who's personally sold millions of dollars of products and services, and is uniquely qualified to help heart-based entrepreneurs transform their relationship to sales so they can confidently and easily grow their business without ever feeling fake, pushy, or salesy. So let's find more about her path, and I will also ask her best tips on how you can start transforming your relationship with sales. So let's get started. Welcome, Anne. I'm so excited to have you here.
Me too. I'm looking forward to this.
So I know I introduced you very briefly. So could you please tell a little bit more about you, and also please share where you're located so we can put you on the map?
Okay, sure. So I live in Rhode Island, the great little state of Rhode Island, although I'm currently on vacation in Massachusetts, not that far away. but yes, yes. So those of you who've never been there, come visit. It's an awesome little state. And so so you kind of want to know how I got here with these two weird sort of sets of skills.
Definitely, I'd love to hear what led you to this path. Like, how did you combine those two elements that are so essential of your work?
Yeah, they're essential, and they are really different. I used to, in fact, my chapter in the book it says something about being a misfit, right? So it was like, so here I've always been fascinated by alternative health and healing and spiritual matters, and I literally have studied and done various things in that realm off and on for over 30 years. And it turned out somewhere along the way, also turned out that I found out that I was a good salesperson. And it started really with just like, I needed some income at some point. So I got a sales job. I was like, I think I'd be good at this. And turns out I was pretty good at it. And that led to, more of a journey and getting more trained. And it turns out that it's something that, I really have a great skill at. But here's something else that I learned along the way. And this is where it really combines with and works with the healing and coaching type of world. So if any of you out there have actually ever done any sales training, you'll probably recognize what I'm about to talk about, which is that in my experience, the great majority of sales training out there in the world is very, what I call high testosterone. It's very, very male energy, okay? And I'm not knocking male energy. Male energy is a wonderful thing. And it doesn't work for heart-centered people to try to do sales that way. It just doesn't work. It's not a match, right? So if you look at the traditional language of sales, it's like overcoming objections, right? Closing sales and always be closing. It's very, very male, right? So I've done that. I can do that, but that's not how I like to do sales. So the way that I do sales, and that I've come to call, and other people, use this phrase too, heart-centered sales, it's really coming from the authentic, more feminine energy, right? It's all about putting the relationship first, putting the connection there. It's about serving. It's about connecting. It's about asking lots of questions and really understanding what it is the other person wants and needs, and offering a solution if you have one, right? It's a much, much different approach. It's not what most people think of sales, but it's very effective. And it truly is. If you are what I would call a heart-centered entrepreneur, and you've been, I usually like to say that most people who are heart-centered are like allergic to sales, right? They're like, oh no, I don't want to know, right? So you were right to have that instinct, because the way sales is mostly taught and the way it often is done doesn't work for you, and it will never work for you. So you shouldn't try to do that. But heart-centered sales works beautifully.
Mm.
And it's the only kind of sales that heart-centered entrepreneurs should be doing. And it really is about, connecting. And there's still skills you need to learn to do it, but it's coming from a whole different space that really works. So it was a journey along the way, doing the healing work, doing the coaching, finding out that, I could do the sales, and coming up with what works for me, and realizing that's really my special sauce, is that I combine them.
I love that, because that is something I've heard from so many heart-centered light workers, that sales is kind of like the bad word. And
Yeah, well, they're allergic to it.
when you are an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you have a gift and you have these services, products that you want to share.
Mm-hmm.
One point there comes these conversations, and it is a way to, I love what you do, because that way you can help them to do differently things.
Yes.
Have this hard-paced sales style, because I have done in the past, I have done the high testosterone style sales.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I grew up with 2 older brothers. I can do it, but I don't enjoy it, and I don't want to do it anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago. It's like, there's a better way that works better for me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, to also recognize that there is different way.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. And there's some industries where that's the best way. That sort of more, it just works, but not for us, not for our people. It doesn't work for our people.
And in your opinion, why do so many people struggle with sales? Like, is there something behind other than being allergic? But what causes the allergy?
Well, excuse me, when I say that they're allergic, there's a lot of things behind that, right? So there's all these imbalances and limiting beliefs and all that stuff, but I think it's a combination of the whole cultural conversation about sales and what sales is, right? People have it like sales is a certain thing that they don't want, right? That it's manipulation, that it's lying, that it's making people do things that they don't want to do, and all that stuff, which is not what sales is, at least not the way I do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've all had bad experiences in sales, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I would encourage people to consider, though, is if you look, you've probably also had some wonderful experiences in sales. I mean, isn't there, do you think, is there either a person or a company where you love working with them? They listen to you, they care about you. One of the things I like to say is people say, oh, people don't like to be sold to. And I was like, that's not true. People love to be sold. Right? If you think about it, think of some product or service or company about which you would be like, I'm sold. Like, they're great. When you say, I'm sold, that is an exultant thing that you're saying. You're like, I'm so excited. I'm sold. Right? So people love that experience. Right? So I think that one of the things is, again, part of the cultural conversation, is that we forget about those positive experiences. We think of that as being, well, that wasn't really sales. It's like, no, that was what was really sales. That other crap where someone wasn't paying attention, they weren't listening to you, they were just trying to push a solution on you. That's not sales.
And I think that could be one first step for people.
Yes.
If you recognize yourself like, yes, I'm allergic to sales, so then start checking if there is those moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When you actually say, I'm sold, I'm in, like, yeah. And that comes.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it can be. And we all have that. We all have, there's certain companies that we were like, I would never want to switch, right? Because they listen to me, they take care of me, they offer me solutions, and that's what sales is really about. It's really about serving.
Yeah, I love that. Sales is all about serving. So that might be a new thing. Write that down. That is very powerful mindset shift as well.
It's all about putting the relationship first. Because here's what happens, and a lot of times with heart-centered people, here's the biggest thing that I think happens with heart-centered people is one of the biggest mistakes that they make is not understanding that sales is literally just a set of skills.
Mm.
That's all it is. It's just a set of skills. And then it's how you use those skills, right? So like can you take any set of skills and use it, dishonestly or manipulatively or whatever? You totally can, right? And you can also take any set of skills and use it for service, use it for building relationship, use it for truly helping people and making the world a better place, right?
Mm.
So people, it's almost like sales is this like mystery, and it's not, it's literally just a set of skills. So what I do is I teach people the skills, and I also work with them because I'm an energetic healer, right? So I also work with them to clear away those limiting beliefs and the blocks and stuff that are holding them back. And when you combine the two, right? If you only cleared away the blocks, but you never learned the skills,
Mm.
you'd be in action, but you still wouldn't be effective. If you only learn the skills, but you didn't clear the blocks, you'd maybe have a few conversations, you might have a little bit of effectiveness, but you wouldn't be out there using the skills, right? But when you combine the two, that's where the magic happens, because you're actually, willing to be out there. You have the confidence to be out there, and then you have the skills to have the conversations that work. So it's really the combination that makes the difference.
Yes, I love that. And I know you are sharing more in the Teach Your Expertise book,
Mm-hmm.
your expertise. So, what can people find from your chapter?
So my chapter is really, it's kind of about the miss it thing, right? So, and I know I'm not the only one out there. That's why I decided to use that in the title, right? Because there's lots of choices for what do I emphasize in the title. So especially if you're in that, like, well, I got this and I've got this and I've got this and nothing seems to really fit, right? To realize that doesn't mean that you can't find the thing that you really want to teach, that you really love. Like for me, it was all about bringing these two skills together to teach heart-centered sales, instead of being like, well, I can be effective and be doing sales here, and I can be, doing the energy healing over here. It was I had to go through my own journey that I talk about in the book to get to realize it's like, oh, it's both. It's both. That's truly my special sauce, right? So you all have your own special sauce too. It just like sometimes it takes us a while to to figure out what it is, right? But when I really got the two, it's like everything just started happening, and that's when I created my online program, the Soulful Sales Code, where I really do exactly what I just described. Like teach these, real skills. Like there's skills in sales. There's no two ways about it. You need to understand the skills, but combined with the clearing and the energy healing work. So it's really, and the other thing that I share in the book is about how, you're not going to figure, the odds of you figuring out exactly what your best offer, like your thing are, the first time out are slim to none. It's not that likely that you're going to, unless you've already been in business for a long time and you've sorted through all this, it's like, but you got to just get out there and like offer what you offer. Like my first online program had nothing to do with sales. It was just about healing. And it was great. And I loved it. And I enjoyed stuff for it. But you know what? I also found out that there wasn't as much of a market for that. Right. So I had to kind of look, to really look at, okay, so I'm going to go a little deeper. Okay. Here's a fundamental mistake that heart-centered people like us make. We have these amazing, wonderful offerings that we want, and we want to change the world, and we want to help people. Okay. And we get very hooked into who needs our help. And we decided that that's my audience. These people need my help. Okay. And it's a tough lesson to learn that who needs your help is not your audience. Your audience is who wants your help enough to pay for it.
Oh, thank you for sharing, because that is a huge thing. And
Right?
that is big thing.
And
So, and again,
because we're like, oh, but I want to help them. And it's like, but you can't help them if they don't want it enough to pay for it. And by the way, they do also need it, right? So that's in a lot of ways the point of my chapter, is sort of getting to that, right? So my other programs, they were great, they were wonderful. People got a lot out of them, and I loved teaching them, but it wasn't really hitting until I got like, oh my God, there's all these people out there who have these amazing gifts in the world, and they suck at sales. They just like, just to call it what it is, they're terrible at it. If I can help them with that, oh my God, think of how that's going to help the world, right? And they were like lining up to sign up for the program once I.
Yes, I know you had success with your program. That is such
If you write down nothing else, you're talking to people who wanted enough to pay for it. That's who your audience is.
If you want to read all and chapter by the Teach Your Expertise book, the link is in the comments, so you can get your copy. And that book comes with awesome gifts as well. So could you just a little bit share what people get beside all the
Yes, so yes, there's a in for you, when you'll see there's all kinds of amazing gifts from Katja and from me and from all kinds of other people. So the gift that's coming from me for the book is it's a training guide on how to have it's really like the beginning part of a sales conversation, and so that you don't. So here's the thing. Most people kill the sales conversation within the first few sentences, and they don't realize they're doing that. There's actually a trap when someone expresses some interest in what you do, and they say something like, "Hey, tell me more about that." Like, right? They want to do that. The next thing that you do is critical, and I'd say 90% of the time, people blow it.
So you
Right?
better check that gift. You share it there.
Yes, it's like a trap that your prospective clients are setting for you. They don't mean to. They don't know they're setting it, but you walk right into it every time. So this guide actually tells you exactly what to do, like exactly what to do when someone wants to find out more about what you do, so that you actually can create a really amazing service-based, heart-connected conversation that can, in fact, turn into a sale as well.
Wonderful. And thank you for sharing all the wisdom during this interview. And we are coming now towards the end. So just asking if there is any final wisdom that you want to share.
Absolutely. So here's the one of the most important keys to succeeding in sales, which means also succeeding in business. It is actually that the most important, most radical, most effective thing you can ever do is actually to just be yourself, fully present, right here in the moment. Now, that's not always as hard, easy as it sounds.
I know.
But that's where the skills come in. When you learn the skills, it actually makes it easier for you to be here.
Yeah, that's just such a key.
Yeah.
And I love that you said it might not be always easy, but you can find a way.
Yeah. And that's where all the power is.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time and all the work that you do helping us heart-centered entrepreneurs to master the sales. And thank you for watching the Path to Purpose interview show. If you want support on your path, you can join the Lightworkers Who Succeed on Purpose Facebook community. And also do get your copy of the Teach Your Expertise book. And I'm sending you lots of light and love. Stay well and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.